Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on anubhavtrainings.com. In this episode, we will talk about how to integrate the simple REST service with our Fiori application. In the last three episodes, we have discussed how can we build our first REST service, simple REST service without OData as part of S4 Hana system and support both the get and the post operation. In this session, now we will be implementing the client side with our preferred UI technology, SAP UI5, and learn how to make a simple REST call without using the data model object to the backend system. So let's get started. So it's not an OData service, so you will not be able to use the OData model over here. However, you will be able to make the simple REST call by yourself. So let's go to the Web IDE tool. Just close this project and we'll start with a new project altogether. I say new project from template, and we will be choosing a simple UI5 template to create our basic UI5 application with one pager. And I'm going to just give project name Z demo rest and say Anubhav trainings. And let's create a main view here, finish. So now we will quickly go ahead and add a simple user interface to create the data, the pizza order data. So for that, we switch to the view and open the view in the layout editor so that we can quickly create very simple basic input fields as part of our web page. So that's our view in the layout editor where we can quickly go ahead and enhance the view functionality by adding new UI elements. So the data which we want to post is including the order ID, order number, order date. All three things will be generated internally by the system. So we'll just pass the customer name, total amount, and currency for the order. And that's what it should do. So let's go ahead and add a simple form here. So just search for simple form, drag and drop that over here, nice and quick. So you have got here the customer data. So just pass here the title, order info, and I'm going to say, what is your order amount? You're going to pass order amount and currency here, and then we will also pass here the customer name. Fantastic. So as you all well aware of the concept of SAP UI5, you all know very well that we can go ahead and now create a local JSON model which can host our data. So I'll just also add the change, and this one comes is customer name. Just save this up. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to the controller code and quickly create a new model, which is a local JSON model holding our data. So we'll come to controller and implement onInit method in the UI5. So that's our onInit method. This is where we will quickly create a new model, and I'll say new JSON model. And this JSON model, I'm going to set the data, which is going to be exactly matching my payload. So let's do that. And that's our payload matching exactly. And we will be binding this model to the application level or the view level. So this dot get view dot set model as a default model. I'm binding this one. So I'll just bind this here. And of course, in this data setting process, we just keep some entity set name, makes it easy. I can call it as payload and just pass this data over here. Let's declare the dependency on the JSON model, SAP UI JSON model. Awesome. And now it's time to do the binding in our view. So we use payload slash customer underscore name, total amount, and currency. So let's go back to the view, and we need to just accordingly bind these fields over here. So we have this first field. Let's create a value, and value property is now binding it with our entity set in the default model slash payload slash order amount. What was the field name? It was total amount. So that's the field name I'm binding. Similarly, we will bind the currency code field, the next one, very next one, and then of course this customer field over here. So that's our binding with the default model. Extremely important, the binding concept. If you are not aware of SAP UI5 properly, feel free to subscribe my UI5 and Fiori training, where we cover all these things from scratch without any copy paste of code. That's my promise to you. Never learn from trainers who teach you copy paste of code, because they tend to hide their skills and they will not let you leave with anything productive learning. Okay, you have to write every single line of code until you understand. Okay, so that's our binding is completed. Our payload is ready. It's time to post the data. So we're going to add also save button over here in the view. So I will quickly go back and just add a save button, and save button control with the text save and icon, SAP-icon save, and also press on save. Fantastic. So that's my save button. Okay, and we have to also specify capital B, of course, the button type. That's a class name, has to be in capital letters. And we just save the button, and it's time to implement OnSave. So basically OnSave should make a call to post the data. And as you have seen in our REST service, in order to post the data, it's extremely important to generate the token first of all. So we have to first generate the token with the get call, and then only we can do the post. So let's do one thing on save. First of all, I'm just going to get something. So we're going to use AJAX here. So dollar dot AJAX call we are going to make over here to be able to first just fetch the token. And once the token fetch is complete, of course, we can then go ahead and do more stuff in the system. So we have to use jQuery AJAX call. So $.ajax, we are going to make a get call to our API. So let me just put here AJAX call, and we are going to put a get call. So let's pass the type over here. It's a get call, and what is my address? I need to make a call URL, and we're going to get the URL of our server in a second. And then once this is done, we also have to pass headers. And in the header, it's extremely important that I will ask system to return me the X CSRF token. Please fetch this gentleman for us. And once it is complete, it's of course going to call always. That's a promise. We are going to receive the data back, and then in this promise we're going to code a function, and this is where we can just have our debugger. So now as part of this, you will get the response back from the system. So you're going to get of course 3 parameters, A, B, and C I can call them, or I can just rename them data, status, and response. So this actual data, status, HTTP status, and response. So we can also explore them. I'm going to save this, and of course let's go back to our Postman to find out the address of our REST service, and we're going to put that over here. Superb. Of course, WebID is going to give you error because it's a violation in the guidelines, which is fine for now. At least we can go ahead and test it now. So let's execute our UI5 app. So I will shoot to the UI5 application, and we're going to get at least our simple form getting displayed with the data. Yes, you see all the binding is doing its magic. Some data is pre-filled. That's okay. I can press F12 now and see if the system makes my get call properly or not. Yeah. So let's click on save, and let's check. You see it has hit the debugger. It has got some data. Status is an error response, and the reason is cross-origin resource sharing. Fantastic. This was expected because now we are running our application with localhost, and we're trying to make a call to a remote host. Yeah, this is where the cross-origin issue blocks you. The solution to that is implementing the Neo app JSON. So we have to just take this gentleman out. Bye-bye. put here, let's say my server address slash ns4 maybe, and I'm going to go to new app JSON, and here is where you have to now implement the destination configuration. That's extremely important. And so let's do that. Add that extra root for our destination. So whenever any URL goes to ns4 address, what you got to do is you have to call a destination, which I've already configured. The name of the destination is ns4. So that's what we are telling to the system. I'm going to save this. This is extremely important to make a call to the SAP system and avoiding CORS, which is what is happening. So that's what we have added now. And let's come back, refresh. I will be sharing this entire code with you. This complete source code you can download from anubhavtrainings.com. Please check the link into the description of this video to download this complete source code. Let's press F12. And now this time, hopefully my cross origin won't disturb me. And we can also just check here the network calls. Click on save. You see it's making a call. Fantastic. You see it's asking me credentials for my SAP system. I entered the credentials, and voila, it hits my always function. And this time, wow, you got that one record. The get call is successful. Hopefully in the response in the header, we should be also able to get the CSRF token. Let me just try that out. And this is a response, and I'll say get response header, please. And oops, get response header. How do we get the token here? So we have to somehow obtain the token. We have to pass what is the property you exactly want to expect. So I'm expecting a CSRF token. You would have got it from me because this is what I asked you. And yes, voila, this is your token, which you need definitely for sure for making a post call. All right, time to go back and further proceed with the posting of data. So of course, never use that hard coded. Just say var, and I will say, well, let's split this work into two parts. I say fetch token method, which I'm going to call first, of course, and I'm going to give a message. The token successfully fetched. We're going to set this token as a global variable. Okay, my token. That's a complete UI5 coding here in action. I hope you are understanding. Those who've taken the UI5 training from me, they are well aware of this type of techniques for coding things stuff. Yeah, here in the SAP UI5, the view controller binding, all these concepts were taught in SAP UI5 training without a copy paste. So now it's time to get response header. And we say X CSRF token. And we're just going to also store it, and we can just give a message box and I say show token received. Just going to print this token to the end user. Ideally should not, but just to check as a developer. And let's also add this dependency on scaffolding. Awesome. Now it's time to implement both the buttons over there for fetch token and save. So I'm going to write this. That's our action, fetch token. So we have fetch token and we have save. So on save now, finally, we are going to make a post call. So let's make a post call here. This is going to be a post call. Same API and header we will be passing this token, which we have got it. So this dot my token. Yeah. We'll pass this in the header now. So this is how we are passing now the token for the post call, which is actually going to insert the data for us. And we have to also set here the content type, the data type, and also the final data. So content type, data type, and data. Let's pass that. So content type, data type, and finally the data which I need to post. So this data comes from our model, this dot get view dot get model dot get property slash payload. That's our data. It's of JSON format, application JSON with a token, URL, type, everything is passed. Finally, we show the order has been created. All right, let's go back, and I'm going to also set up a breakpoint in our post method. It's already there, I guess. Yeah, that's our post method. Let's set up a breakpoint, make sure. All right, it's already set. So let's see if it comes to our breakpoint or not. I'm going to go back, refresh, and let's pass the data out here in the system. So it's loading. I'm going to fetch the token. The token has been fetched. Fantastic. It's time to post the data. So I say A950 US dollars, and I'm going to say Anubhav demo, and I'm going to press F12, also debug our UI5 code to make sure the post call is going properly to the system. If there's any error, we get to know. So come and put up a breakpoint for AJAX and say save. Comes here and just going to read this data first. Token is there or not? Just cross check. Yeah, it's there. And let's check the data. Yeah, this is our data to be sent, and all looks well. If this call goes well, then it's going to hit our breakpoint in the backend system in our S4 Hana tenant. So till now, no signs that it is hitting our breakpoint, or maybe voila, there you go. It has come to my S4 Hana system with the data which I've sent. You can also check this data in this structure after the deserialization. And oops, where's my customer name? It's showing a blank. So I'm going to post a blank data actually. So somehow my customer name hasn't come. The reason being, look at this data. This is not a JSON. Exactly. That's the problem. Because system has not sent a JSON, order has been created, but since it has not sent the JSON, it did not create the data as per my requirement. So what we're supposed to do, this payload which you're passing has to be the JSON string. Okay, how do you do that? Very easy. So LV data. First of all, you get the data from the payload. And now it's time to convert this data to a JSON string. That's extremely, extremely important. If you want to post this data to the system, you have to do JSON.stringify this payload. Okay, so you have to call JSON.stringify. So var JSON data is equal to JSON.stringify and pass my data over here so that JSON data can be passed. So that's a change to send the data as a JSON format to the backend so that system can interpret it accordingly. And I'm going to pass again Anubhav demo or anubhavtrainings.com. That's our website, one-stop shop for all your learnings on SAP UI5, ABAP on HANA, S4 HANA, CDS views, AMDP, ADBC, OData services, Launchpad, Fiori security, SAP cloud integration, hybrid C4C, ABAP, OOPS ABAP, WebIntro, workflow, whatsoever you're willing to learn. We have one-stop solution for everything, including server access and certification material for all of you. Let's fetch it up. The token is fetched. Time for save. Let's fire the save. And now it's again going to hit our breakpoint for sure. We will see the incoming data has to be JSON. If it is JSON, then only it's going to make sense. Yes, exactly. Now this time is a JSON. Let's hope the deserialization does its job. F6. Let's go to BIP. And voila, you see the record has come properly. It's going to do the magic. I'm just going to say F8. Fiori UI shows order has been created. Time to go to database table and cross check if the record has been created or not. Passing customer name anubhavtrainings.com, execute. Okay, it's not showing because of case sensitivity. That's okay. You can just go ahead and read maybe order number 60, I think. And let's check. Voila. You can see here customer name anubhavtrainings.com. That's a new order recently created with today's date in the system right here on your screens. That's the end-to-end solution with complete REST API implementation, both the get and post call with the token handling, with Fiori application and end-to-end Fiori app right on your screen. Thank you so much with that. It's a wrap on today's session. I hope you enjoyed this end-to-end video series on RESTful APIs with S4 Hana system and creating a front-end Fiori app to post the data to SAP system. With that, Anubhav signing out. Feel free to reach out to me on anubhavtrainings.com. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and leave your comments below in the comment box. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Goodbye.